Hello everyone and happy Halloween. Welcome to the October 2025 movie collection update. Now if you've been following this channel for a number of years, you know every October I like to try to make a focus and really center down on watching a lot of first time viewing horror films. And that's what I've got for you today. The majority of these are horror, not all of them, but there's a very good chunk of horror in here. So, sit back, relax, take some spooky recommendations, and without further ado, let's get right into it. With our first pick right here, which was a newly acquired VHS tape. And the story behind this one is that a YouTube channel that I've been following for a number of years now. They disappeared for a while and then came back with the pandemic. Was DEADPit Radio on YouTube. Creepy Kentuckian, Uncle Bill, always loved their stuff, always loved the videos. Just super realistic, honest, truthful. And even here in recent months and to this very day, they're some of the only ones who really call out the bullshit with movie critics and physical media collectors and everything that's wrong with the landscape. DEADPit is some of the last real ones out there. So I had to support them in getting this newly released, never before seen on the internet, never before released outside of this airing, the 2008 DEADPit Halloween Horrorthon VHS. Now you see there, this cover is a hilarious parody of the old Trick or Treat DVD that had Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons on the cover. And this was a public access television thing they did, like somewhere in Michigan or something like that. I don't know, I forget where exactly it was. But just seeing CK and Uncle Bill hosting something on TV from their bedroom was just hilarious. It is so DEADPit, and it's everything why I love these guys. And the cool thing about this VHS is that it was very, very limited in conjunction with, like, Tape Rot Video, I think the company was. And you could get this deadpit.bigcartel.com. They were orange VHS tapes with a very limited number of green VHS tapes. So I was curious to see which one I would get if I ordered it. And did I get the orange or did I get the green? Well,
it's the best of both worlds.
So that's really fun. But yeah, if you're watching my channel and you don't know who DEADPit is, you are missing out. Thank you for being subscribed. Thank you for watching me. If you enjoy the little stuff I do here with movies, you would absolutely love DEADPit, so make sure you give CK and Uncle Bill some love. And now this first one was, this was actually a birthday gift this year, and this film just kind of silently released. I never heard of it before, but I love Josh Hartnett. And this is not the only time in this update you're going to see him. But this just sounded fun, and it looked up my alley. It's this flick called Fight or Flight. And I'm a fan of Brad Pitt's movie Bullet Train that came out a few years ago. This is basically like a knockoff direct-to-video version of Bullet Train. So if you like Bullet Train, you'll probably like this. It's not as good. It does my big pet peeve thing that I hate in all movies, where the opening shot of the movie, it gives you like a teaser of the climax of the film, and then it does the whole 33 hours earlier. I hate that. Any movie that does that, I hate that. So this started off with that, and I'm like, oh God. But it is enjoyable. It's entertaining. It's fun. And the climax is crazy. This entire thriller that takes place on this plane, and the plot of it is very similar to Bullet Train. There's a MacGuffin in there, and it's nothing earth-shattering, it's nothing new, but it was enjoyable and it was entertaining. Which is more than I can say for the following two. These two I bought from Walmart because they were both pretty cheap. And yeah, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm doing my October, I'm doing my horror movie update. These will probably be, good picks. And both of them are very new, very recent. So starting off with The Monkey, which I was excited to watch because I like the concept of it being kind of Final Destination-y with over-the-top kills and a horror comedy. I did not like this at all. I thought every single character was annoying as hell. The death scenes, the CGI was terrible. It tried to be funny, but this fell flat almost 100% of the time, with the exception of the final shot. The very final shot of the movie made me laugh. But outside of that, the horror fell flat. The comedy fell very flat. The story and the characters did not interest me at all. Not good. I did not like that. And this one was a complete blind buy. I had never even heard of this, so I don't know what the release was, but I'm like, Pedro Pascal, Jay Ellis, Tom Hanks in this 80s set thing. Oh, I gotta check that out. Freaky Tales. It's basically a vanity project. The first half of it is like a vanity project for the rapper that produced this. Too short. Like, the entire second chapter of this is just a music video for these singers, these rappers. Beyond that, you get this very Pulp Fiction knockoff story, which that's another kind of controversial opinion I hold. I am not a fan of Quentin Tarantino. I do not like a single one of his movies. I do not like Pulp Fiction. I do not like any movie that tries to replicate the style of Pulp Fiction. And that's exactly what this does. It tries to be a Pulp Fiction, multi-story threads, when the only good stuff involves... I mean, Pedro Pascal's storyline is okay. Jay Ellis as Sleepy Floyd is easily the best part of the movie, and I just honestly wish this whole movie was just about him. And Angus Cloud, who I've gone on record to saying Angus Cloud annoys me because he plays the exact same character in everything. He's only got one setting. At least here it actually kind of fits. So, yeah, did not like either of these at all. Sorry. This one was a DVD to Blu-ray upgrade. I've had the DVD of this for years. Found this Blu-ray used and pretty cheap, so I just had to upgrade. Add to the collection now of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which is one I've always actually really liked. I do really like Halloween 4. Halloween 5 is now the only one I don't have on Blu-ray, and I hate Halloween 5, so I am not in any rush to get that. I've never been a Halloween fanboy that much to begin with. My number one favorite of the whole series is Season of the Witch. So there's that. And I find a lot of entertainment value and enjoyment out of Resurrection. Yes, I said it. Busta Rhymes, Kung Fu chopping Michael Myers. I love it. It's entertaining as shit. Halloween Resurrection is more entertaining and fun to watch than half of this series that has to do with the Thorn Cult or Rob Zombie or the David Gordon Green stuff. So, yeah, I've got some controversial opinions when it comes to Halloween. But Halloween 4 is a really good one. I've always really dug it. I wish Halloween 5 would have capitalized on the ending of this one, but they completely, cheaped out on it. So, what are you going to do? Next one I got has been on my radar for quite a while, and I finally got around to seeing 13 Ghosts, which is it's a remake of a William Castle movie that I really don't have any interest in watching based on the clips I saw. But 13 Ghosts, it's from the same production company behind films such as the House on Haunted Hill remake, Ghost Ship, I believe House of Wax, just that entire era of the early 2000s. Which, admittedly, none of those movies are good, but I have such a nostalgia for that era when I was like 5, 6 years old in the early 2000s. Just watching stuff like this, I'm like, you know what? This was fun. It's not the best movie, it's not the best written or anything like that, but I do like that style and I have a sense of nostalgia. I mean, House on Haunted Hill is the best one, I think, of that whole Dark Castle Productions line they had going. This one, you've got Matthew Lillard being Matthew Lillard. You've got Tony Shalhoub, who's a really odd choice to lead this, but he does really well with it. Shannon Elizabeth, F. Murray Abraham. It's not one that I'm going to rewatch a whole hell of a lot, but for the purposes of this update and what I was trying to do, perfectly entertaining for a spooky Halloween season watch. And along with that, also from Scream Factory, I finally got around to checking out Pumpkinhead with Lance Henriksen. And again, this was a perfect fall vibe, Halloween, kind of folk horror, fairy tale essence. Lance Henriksen is always great. I really did not know any of the other actors in this, but you know you're getting something good when it's directed by Stan Winston. So you've got a makeup guy directing this, which is awesome. The Pumpkinhead himself looks great. I really like the effect. I wish some more of the deaths were on screen. I expected a little bit of more gore, considering this was coming from the effects guy. But the vibes, the fall, the pumpkin patch, the witch, like it just has that folk fairy tale vibe that makes it a perfect kind of, macabre viewing for the Halloween season. I do not intend on watching any of the sequels. I do not have any interest in any of them. I mean, if they're good, tell me below in the comments, but I'm perfectly fine just leaving this as a one-off. I do like it a lot, though. One I did not like a lot, which is a shame because I love a lot of the people involved with this, was Haunted Honeymoon. This was Gene Wilder's attempt to make his own Mel Brooks movie. After he was in Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, this is him trying to do Mel Brooks does a spooky haunted house murder mystery thing. And you've got Dom DeLuise in drag. It didn't work. It was very dull, very dry. There were a few small moments that made me laugh in it, but the vibes are good. I love the old castle, aesthetic that it's set in. Perfect for the season. The contents of the script itself, though, this was just dull to watch, and I really wanted to like it more than I actually did. So I don't know, maybe Mel Brooks himself should have actually done this one. I love you, Gene Wilder, but didn't exactly hit the mark. Now, if you want something that hit the mark, this is one that I am ashamed that I never saw sooner. I had always heard nothing but really positive things about this. Everyone I watch on YouTube, whenever this came up, it was always very positive. And it was always being praised as a very underrated kind of horror masterpiece. And for some reason, my dumb ass just never investigated it any further. I just sort of forgot about it. And then finally I was in my used store a couple weeks ago and I saw this Blu-ray there for $6. I said, okay, you know what? Finally, I'm going to check this thing out. I love the names involved. Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey, Powers Booth. Bill Paxton also directed this in his directorial debut. You know what it is? You know what it is. I'm, of course, talking about Frailty. This was awesome. Very rarely does something like this really live up to the hype that all the online critics and YouTubers give to it, but for real, it's unsettling, it's disturbing, it's thrilling, it's suspenseful. It really tugs at a lot of different emotions. The plot is disturbing for so many different reasons. And just when you think you know where it's going, the story keeps pulling the rug out from under you. And for his directorial debut, I mean, Bill Paxton. First of all, rest in peace. I love Bill Paxton. Coconut Pete himself. Of course, also Twister, Aliens, Weird Science. Bill Paxton is great in everything he does. I got a song. I love Coconut Pete, but he acts his ass off. And I also want to give introducing Matt O'Leary. So if the first time directing job was amazing, Matt O'Leary's first time acting job was amazing. This has some of the most powerful child acting you will ever see. And yeah, if you have not seen Frailty, you're sitting on a gold mine with this. Don't look anything up about it ahead of time. Go in blind. I've watched this twice now. And watching it the second time through, knowing all the big crazy twists and stuff, it completely reshapes how you watch the movie. So this hugely, hugely, hugely underrated. If you're a horror fan, you have to see Frailty. And now this is another DVD to Blu-ray upgrade that I had, but the DVD I had was a bootleg. In the US, I don't believe this ever saw a release beyond VHS. And so Michael Felsher helped put this one out with the Vestron Video Collectors Series. I had a bootleg DVD of it, and I'm now glad to finally have a good copy of Hider in the House with our regular staple, Gary Busey. Take it out of that, it's got that. This is kind of in the line of movies like Bad Ronald, where you've got someone living in the walls of a house, obsessing over the family, falling in love with the wife, or you've seen this kind of story before. And I watched this again with the new commentary that's on it with Michael Felsher and the director. You learn a lot about it. I mean, this really was a more layered movie than I remember it being, because the last time I watched this, I was probably in high school. I think I was like a sophomore, so I had to be only 15 or 16, excuse me, when I watched this. But this is a really nifty little psychological horror thriller. Great musical score. Gary Busey's performance is very layered while still kind of being trademark Busey. But I'm very glad that it finally has a good disc release in the US. Hopefully this helps it see a new audience, because it really is a good movie. And listening to the commentary too, it got screwed upon release because of Vestron going bankrupt, and it didn't go to any theaters or anything. So yeah, don't sleep on Hider in the House. Especially, I mean, if you like watching Gary Busey be Gary Busey, of course I have to recommend this to you just on those merits alone. But you get a lot more than just that. It's a much more cerebral film than you might expect from the concept. Alright, and this next one was gifted to me actually like 2 years ago, and I forgot I had it. It's been sitting on my shelf. I just forgot I had it. My good friend Jake, who used to work for Severin Films, would always just give me Blu-rays on the house. That's how I got stuff like Drive-In Massacre, The Changeling, Raiders of Atlantis. Like, he would always give me these just movies to check out. And he gave me this probably about 2 years ago. He goes, dude, you need to see this. It's so goofy. It's so weird. It's so 80s. It's got your name all over it. I don't know why, but somehow I forgot about it. Like, it's been sitting on my shelf just like that this whole time. And I just forgot I had it until recently. I was looking at this, and then I looked at the cover, and for some reason I was thinking it was a werewolf movie, which it isn't. However, it might not be a werewolf movie, but it is everything else. It is an 80s frat comedy. It's a Romeo and Juliet story. It's a slasher film. It's a murder mystery. It's a psychological thriller. It's a musical. It is fucking batshit. It's not good, but it is so weird and misguided and head-scratching that I kind of loved it. It's an Australian slasher film, and just nothing about this makes sense. Every single decision with the script and the direction just makes you say, what? Like, it's very rare that I find obscure B-movie trash like this that's actually fun to watch, just because I had no idea where this was going. When it finally reveals the killer's motivation, it is just as stupid as everything else in the rest of this. So, Jake, you did not disappoint. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to this, but awesome. I mean, it's not awesome, but it's kind of awesome in that how stupid it is and how bad it is, ill-conceived. Now, this is a 3-pack that I mainly got for one movie, but this was only $7. I'm like, well, shit, $7, 3 movies in here. So this is the Queens of Scream collection with I Know What You Did Last Summer. Never been a big fan of that one or that series. The When a Stranger Calls remake. But then we've got Vacancy with Luke Wilson from 2007. That's the one I mainly got this for. That's the one I wanted to see. And I will say Vacancy was really good. Old school survival horror, trapped in the motel, the killers trying to get at them in the room, and they got to try to figure out a way out. It suffers a little bit at the beginning just because I hate that trope of where you have the couple that just does not stop bickering. It's like, oh, they're bickering, they're being overly angry at one another so that way they can inevitably make up and realize they love each other through all the horror, yada, yada, yada. But once the horror of Vacancy starts, it's really good. There's a standout scene that happens in a tunnel that pries on multiple fears people might have. I always love seeing Frank Whaley, and he plays the villain in there, and he's really fun in that role, playing what is basically like a Ned Flanders typical creep type role, but it's Frank Whaley. He does good at it. So yeah, Vacancy, I definitely highly recommend. That was pretty engaging. I stayed really enthralled with that. And as you guys know, I've been going through last year collecting the filmography of Jason Statham. My Statham kick is still going strong. This one I actually saw in the theater, but I didn't like the movie enough to, pay full price for it. So I'm just like, we'll see what happens. But found it used for $7, so I finally picked up Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. Ruse de Guerre, however you say that, I don't know. It's another one that has Josh Hartnett, and again, he's a highlight, playing just like an airhead, kind of aloof movie star that's forced to be a spy in this against Hugh Grant, and Jason Statham, and Carrie Elways are in there, and the sum of its parts are better than the end result. It drags on a little too long. It kind of runs in circles. It's Guy Ritchie. It could have been a lot better. I will say, though, I did like this better than Wrath of Man, which was the other Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham jaunt that came out around the same time as this. This one's at least fun. It could have had more going for it. It could have been more. The espionage stuff in it does get a little boring. But at the end of the day, it's lighthearted. It's funny. See it for Statham and Hartnett and Hugh Grant. They do a good job with it. Not bad at all. But now this I need to thank my mom. Full disclosure, my mom bought this for me as a birthday gift. She picked it off my Amazon wish list because she was like, oh, you want any movies or anything for your birthday? I said, yeah, here's my wish list. Surprise me, pick one. And this is the one my mom picked. And she could not have done a better job because this is one of the most fun, exhilarating, laugh out loud, just celebratory action thrillers I've seen in I don't know how long. I loved every second of this. Cellular, with Chris Evans, Kim Basinger, William H. Macy, and your villain, your big baddie of the movie, played by Statham. I loved it. I cannot sing the praises for this highly enough. It is so early 2000s. It is so of the time. It's essentially Larry Cohen's spiritual written sequel to Phone Booth, which is another movie I love. And this is more open world. It's more thrilling. There's a lot more action in this. And it's very comedic. It's very lighthearted. It's basically almost an action thriller comedy all rolled in one. This is just the perfect popcorn movie. Absolutely love Cellular. I can't recommend this highly enough. It's a day spa, you fuck. And lastly, my coworker Megan is going to be very happy to see this in here because she turned me on to watching all of the Harry Potter films, which I admittedly was not looking forward to because I'm not a fantasy guy. I've never read any of the books. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, The Hobbit. I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't get into that stuff. So she got me started. She said, oh, just watch Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. Just watch the first two, blah, blah, blah. So I watched the first two, and then I'm like, well, I'll be damned. I'm actually kind of liking this. So then I went ahead to Prisoner of Azkaban, which is actually my #1 favorite Harry Potter film. Don't know how common or unpopular of an opinion that is. I don't know anything about the Potter fan base, but it ultimately squared away, and I thought this would be a good addition to the Halloween update. All 8 Harry Potter films on Blu-ray. I like 6 out of the 8. The only ones that I did not like, the Half-Blood Prince. I like the last 45 minutes or so of that. It took way too long to get there. And I absolutely did not like Deathly Hallows Part 1 at all, because nothing happened. We were just waiting for Deathly Hallows Part 2, which I did like. But outside of that, Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite. Goblet of Fire is really good. Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets. Order of the Phoenix, I think, is my number 2, down from Prisoner of Azkaban. But I'm honestly as surprised as anyone. I swallowed an entire humble pie in even just buying this Blu-ray set. But I'm like, you know what? I actually liked them. These are actually really solid movies. I don't discredit that at all. So there we go. That's not something I ever thought I would ever be showing in one of these movie updates, but here we are. All right, we're on the back half of the update now. I just have 5 DVDs left. I'm going to go through them really quick. This one was Mystery Team. Complete Blind Buy. The first half of this was really funny, really witty, really enjoyable, dark comedy about these 3 dweeby idiots trying to solve mysteries around their town, and then they get tasked to solve a murder. The second half of this movie relies way too much on gross out kind of humor and stuff. I'm like, oh, this movie started so good, and then the second half of it just devolves into gross out humor and stuff like that. I'm like, ah. The ending's good though, but overall I did like the movie. It's a very underseen comedy that I think does deserve a little bit more recognition. This one, I was in the mood for something kind of Goosebumps-y, Are You Afraid of the Dark type, so I found this 90s kids horror film that was a part of a short-lived 2-movie series based on a series of books called Shadow Zone. My Teacher Ate My Homework. Which, first of all, this cover is... These 2 kids are not in the movie, and that teacher is not in the movie. This cover is a lie, first of all. It's got Shelley Duvall in it, but My Teacher Ate My Homework is not even a good title for the book or this, because it's a killer doll story. You look at this, you think it's going to be about like an evil teacher or something like that. No, just take this cover out of it, because none of them are in the movie. This is a killer doll story. And a very dull one at that. Some parts of it are darkly humorous, just thanks to it being Shelley Duvall and her being a really good actress. But even the 90s camp factor can't save this one. It really nothing to run home about. Same mindset behind that is why I got The Nightmare Room, this Scareful What You Wish For DVD that has 4 episodes on it, including My Name is Evil, Scareful What You Wish For, Tangled Web, and Fear Games. My Name is Evil, it was what it... These are all filmed in the same house, the same high school. They're all different characters, all different stories, but it's all filmed parallel to one another. Scareful What You Wish For was interesting, though, because it starred a very young Shia LaBeouf and a very much younger Dylan and Cole Sprouse. So I'm like, okay, just those 3 together alone is kind of an oddity. But the real star of this show is Tangled Web, which is, it's not scary at all. It's a complete comedy, but it is hilarious. It is the most wacky, wild, insane episode of this type of show that I think I've ever seen, that features the most bizarre celebrity cameo I've ever seen in my life by WWE wrestler Sting. It is madness. So I'm mixed. So, like, of these 4 episodes, Scareful What You Wish For was fun. Tangled Web was crazy. My Name is Evil and Fear Games, so I'm batting 50-50. So if I check out the rest of this show one day, we'll see how it is. I showed 13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard. Well, now I am showing Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost which also has Matthew Lillard in it. You know, no matter how old I get, I will always rewatch and check out these Scooby-Doo movies. I mean, they still got Matthew Lillard and Frank Welker in there, so it still stays a little grounded to my childhood, memories. Scooby-Doo meets Kiss, Scooby-Doo meets WWE, Scooby-Doo's Happy Halloween. However many of these they put out, I always end up watching them. And for what it was, this was fun. It's not quite like 13 Ghosts, maybe a little bit, but I just thought that was a funny parallel. I'm like, oh, Matthew Lillard, 13 Ghosts, Scooby-Doo in the 13th Ghost. It's fun, Yeah, I'm, not exactly the prime place in my life to be watching stuff like that, but... And lastly, from Synapse Films, we've got this British anthology TV show. Only had 5 episodes. It's the complete series of Chiller. And of these 5 episodes, I liked 4 out of the 5. The only one that I did not really care for was the 5th episode, which is hilariously called Number 6. That one. But Prophecy, episode 1, is basically Final Destination, but before Final Destination, and that was pretty fun to watch. The production value on these is actually really good. Like, you could tell it's low budget, you could tell it's TV, but there's still, there's blood, there's nudity, so they go pretty far with these. Prophecy, Final Destination before Final Destination, that was really good. Toby, pretty solid kind of ghost story about a couple being haunted by the ghost of a baby, which is interesting. Here Comes the Mirror Man, psychological horror that was done pretty well. And The Man Who Didn't Believe in Ghosts, which is a typical haunted house story, but it's done really well. And then episode 5, Number 6, that's the one that I didn't really care for that much. But 4 out of the 5, I mean, this was really good. It's got a cool vibe, cool Halloween ness to it. It's a British show. It's got a lot of famous British actors across these episodes. And yeah, if you're into anthologies and stuff, definitely check this out. Of all the horror anthologies I've kind of blindly watched, this is one of the better ones. So definitely check it out. Synapse Films, Chiller. Everybody, I wish you a very happy and spooky Halloween. Hope you've liked everything I've had to talk about. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these. Let me know what you're watching this Halloween season. And stay tuned for hopefully more to come on the channel very soon. Thank you for watching, everyone, and take care.